So I originally made this video just as a personal reference for myself so I could look back to see how I had the wiring connected, but I figured it might be helpful for somebody. So here is the back of the CDI number 1. There's the red wire which goes into spot number 1. Thinking maybe that could be a root cause, perhaps. Either way, I'm still have the CDIs already disconnected, so in the process of swapping them. So the coil's ground out to the bottom coil number 3, right there on that pin. So there's 1, 2, 3, grounded on that nut. So on the existing coil number 3, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 5 and 6, which looks like it's red and white. And that is coming from the top of the coil where there's a red, white, and blue cable. Blue cable is going to this number 3 right here, which is the second on the bar from the left. Alright, so this is for CDI. It was old number 3, now it's the replacement 1 and 2. So there's 3 remaining wires, looks like yellow, orange, and green. And it looks like those are going to... Green is going into this one. Orange going into this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5 and 6 from the right, which is closest to the front. And the yellow looks like it's going all the way down at the bottom to the very last one, which is labeled number 4. Alright, so I got the first one completely unwired. There's the 3 cables. Here's the 2 connectors. Here's the 3 cables. There's 2 more cables, the white wire, which is the kill switch, and the ground, which I left connected because they're both grounded to the same spot. And then these 2 wires right here, those are the kill wires, and if you follow them all the way down, they come down here, third from the top, which is the white magnet. So, since they're both wired into the same spot, we don't need to switch them either. Alright, so now we're going to disconnect the old number 1 and 2, which is going to be the 3, but instead of using this number 1 spot to power coil 3, I'm going to use the number 2 spot. And I think my issues were because of this wire. I just wrapped it in electrical tape. It looks like the casing to the wire was pinched. Maybe it was stuck between a screw and grounding off. I'm not really sure. I didn't see where it was pinched. I just saw it after the fact. But anyway, so red, white, and blue. You can see this blue wire is going from the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4. Disconnect that. The red wire from the top is going to right here. So 1, 2, 3 from the top. So that would have been number 1 on the old configuration. And the white wire is going right here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 from the top, which looks like number 2. So we'll disconnect those, and we'll swap all the wiring, reconnect it. Alright, so once again, this is for old coil number 1 and 2, which is going to become the new number 3. We have 3 more wires to disconnect, which is, looks like orange, yellow, and green. So let's see where those go. Orange looks like it's going second from the top. 1, 2. Start with green because it's easier. Green looks like it's going to the very first one, number 1. And yellow is going on the bottom right here, which is this one. So 1, 2, 3 from the bottom. So we'll disconnect those. So here's another potential issue. This green wire, when I was taking it off, it's coming from the stator. Connection just slipped right out. So I'm gonna have to get a new crimp connection and recrimp it. Alright, so there is the number 1 trigger wire. Fix the crimp connection. Alright, so I've wired in CDI number 2, which is gonna control coil number 3. But this slot 1 was bad before. Whether it be due to the wire damage or not, I'm not really sure. Either way, I'm going to rewire it to use this one. I haven't done that yet. I just rewired it exactly how the old one was. So, connected over here. Did the green wire first, then the orange. We did red, and then the white striped, blue, and yellow. So all this is on the wiring diagram, but I just cross-referenced the previous video that I recorded, and I cross-referenced everything on the wiring diagram to make sure it matched up, which it did. So that one's all wired in. I don't have it screwed in all the way yet, just a little bit just to hold it in place. So now we're going to wire in the other one, which controls coil 1 and 2. Alright, so we've wired in 3 wires so far for the new CDI slot number 1, which controls coil 1 and 2. Blue wire goes here, and red wire goes here, and the white wire goes here. So red, white, and blue. Now we just gotta do the other 3, which is these 3 right here. Yellow, orange, and green. Alright, so this is the CDI for coil 1 and 2. Connected the last 3 wires. Green one goes to number 1, orange one goes to number 2, yellow goes to the 3rd one on the left side right here. Alright, and then here is the 2 connectors coming off of the CDI for coil 1 and 2. Orange goes to coil number 1, red goes to coil number 2. That's these connectors here. So we'll connect those in. Okay, those are connected. Here's coil number 2 going to red. Coil number 1 going to orange. And then for coil number 3, normally it would go to orange. So mine looks like it looks bad. That's part of the reason why I think it might not be good. Since I'm going to rewire it to use the second slot, it's going to go to red. So connect coil number 3 to red right there, and then we'll do a little bit of rewiring on the front here. Alright, so according to the wiring diagram, it looks like in order to switch, so the slot 2 is powered instead of slot 1. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are the wires going into slot 2. And they just need to be slid down 2 spots like that. So these are the ones that are getting powered by the trigger. And these are currently powering slot 1. So we just need to slide these 2 down. And then slide these 2 down. And then slide this one and this one back over in its spot. And that should power up the red one that's connected to coil 3. Alright, so we got them switched. Orange and green, which should be the ones connected to slot 1. And then white striped and red. These are now connected to number 3 off the trigger. So now number 3 off the trigger is going to slot number 2, which is coil number 3.